Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
So, you all preparing for Janmashtami? No. Question? Yes, okay.
Guruji, often we see that to develop this Brahminical type of culture is really needed, which is based on humility, cleanse, truthfulness, prideless. But at the same time, as soon as we started to rise up this Brahmana culture, the ego and the proud also comes together. So to kill this in Kali Yuga is almost impossible. So how to develop a Brahminical culture, which is based on the Vedic culture, without a rise in ego, pride?
You see, this is beautiful what you say. Very often when people grow in spirituality, especially when they have knowledge, because Brahminical culture means the one who have knowledge of creation, knowledge of the self, knowledge of everything of Bhagwan himself. But what comes with this such knowledge also is, sadly, is the spiritual pride. Because they become very proudful of our knowledge of what we read about, but yet reading about without experiencing the divine is useless completely. You know? So when Bhagavan Krishna talks about Brahman, he's talking about the one who have experienced the divinity. You know? And automatically when you experience the divine, what installed itself is humility. In chapter 5, verse 11 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna said that the yogi, which is free from attachment, perform all activity, the body, mind, intellect, and senses. For what goal? For purification of the self. So, when Bhagavan here utilized the yogi, he's used the word yogi, he is referring for the bhakta, the devotees. The devotees who have, what you can call yourself a devotee, is those who have that surrender, that complete awareness, But yes, I'm in constant observance. What am I observing? Observing that yes, I am not this body, I am not the mind, I am not that intellect, I am not the senses. But very often we refer to ourselves as an observer. But observer is not what the Upanishad talk about, the self, the Atma. Observer is not that. When you observe, there is someone else which is observing the observer. Because you are fully aware of the one which is observing everything, isn't it? So then there is another one beyond that observing, which is observing the whole outside. So the observer is not, very often we hear that, you are the observer of things. No? Observer is not who you are. You are that Atma, that fullness, that wholeness, that's who you are. And that can't be observed, that can be only experienced. As long as you don't experience that, you're still observing. So Bhagavan comes and reminds, for what does such yogi doing everything, When you call yourself a bhakta, when you call yourself a brahmana, because bhaktas are brahmanas, because brahmanas, like I said, they have that knowledge, not just knowledge, but experience. So when Bhagavan is talking about being the observer, he's also referring that why are you acting? He's putting a clear note here, but all the action of a bhakta is not to attach, because whatever we do through action, we attach. So it's not through action in itself, it is for purification of the self. Purification of the self. Here the self doesn't mean the Atma. It's talking about the self, which is the ego, which is in between, you know. So purification of that ego completely, that's what will really make one into that splendor of the Brahman. Otherwise, we can say yes, Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. I remember I had a talk with some of the family members, which is Brahman also, and because due to their education, they think that they're superior than anybody else, you know. But nowadays it's not like that. Even Bhagavan Krishna, when he spoke about in the Gita, he's not talking about that. He clearly gave a certain category of people to do their work, etiquette, you know, due to their mindset, due to their structure, their physique and everything, you know. And so you have Kshatriya, Vaishya, and so on. The caste system, it was not given through separation, but it was given for the society to be built upon a certain structure that holds that society itself. That's why he's talking about that. You know. But along the side, what has happened is that the pride take over. And one says, yes, the Kshatriya will say, I am better because I'm fighting and protecting. The Brahmana said, I am better because I know all the knowledge about the Atma. But knowing the knowledge about the Atma is like some fools just talking about that, you know. Experience must be there. That's why satsang is very important, you know. What the Guru revealed to you, the word of the Guru, you know, is sometimes challenging to the mind. But what does that do? It shapes the mind so that the mind doesn't hold upon that all distance of what you have always created inside. You know. Otherwise, changes will not happen. You will still hold upon your worry, your fear. But you will not advance. Meanwhile, when you think that, yes, now it's time for me to awake, time has passed. Death is knocking at your door. And it's finished. And that's the majority of the people, you see. It's like that. They live in a delusion, whether it is spiritual people or whether it is non-spiritual people. There is a certain kind of delusion that one has created out of fear. And they hold upon that. When we look at the Gita itself, of Bhagavan Krishna had taught to Arjuna, it is that transformation, you know, that change which Arjuna goes through, that metamorphose which Arjuna goes through. You know. It's not only the mind that changes, the whole being changes. And that's what, when we talk about Brahman, that's what we have to experience, that transformation, that change in itself. You know. And the transformation is Brahman. You know. Brahman is transformed again into that originality. Because Brahman comes from the word Brahma. Brahma is the god of creation. You know. So according to the Shastras we see that Brahma Ji was given the task of creating. So meaning, he is the first one. So we come back to that originality of who we are when we call ourselves a Brahman. So it's not just by wearing the thread that you become a Brahman. You know? Because very often you will say, yes, you know, they are not Brahman, these people. You know. But okay, there were such gurus that they, you know, there were one guru called Govinda Das, Raja Govinda Das, actually. Once in the 19th century, he had a disciple which was a Muslim. So there were the Brahmin caste people around, you know, and he was a great scholar. And of course they brought their children for him to learn under him. They refused. You look at them, they were not interested because they think, yeah, we know all these things by ourselves, we have heard everything, we know it. So they refused to take them. But he took one boy. Once he was walking, he saw one boy, Gaddafi was his name. He saw him and he said, you come with me. And dragged him, brought him to the father of the boy and said, I'm taking your son. And for that, like that, for 20 years he studied under Raja Govinda. And he became a great scholar in himself. And he had the grace of the Divine Mother. So you see, that transformation, while I was talking about Brahman, there was one incident that all the Brahmin, when the boy was still small, one Brahmin boy said to Gaddafi, they were, because they different caste, different religion, they were saying some, just to annoy him, push him around. So of course he rebuked back, and then he also pushed back that boy, and he fell down and hurt his leg. And of course they made a big hoo-ha about this and went to the Guru and complained, said, look, you have taken this person and then look how he became. He's not even a Brahmin. You know what the Guru did? He took one holy thread which was there in the temple, came out, initiated him, giving him that title. But then he said to him, listen, that doesn't mean that you have become a Brahmin just like that. By wearing the thread, you can't become a Brahmin. Like Kabir said, if just by wearing a thread you become a Brahmin, then the rope, the wood which hold the rope for the well, then it will have been the Brahmin also. Sometime. That doesn't mean it's a Brahmin. So that's why the knowledge is important when one goes through that. And knowledge is not just superficially, because the Brahmin, they are all very well instructed into it, But instructing is one thing, understanding is something else. People can read books as novels, but to understand, that means to transform and change. But for that, you need that courage, you need that strength, you need that devoutness to be able to change. Otherwise, no change will happen. Good. Question? Yes, ma'am.
The question is about devotion. I feel like the devotion sometimes reduces, like the level of love that I have goes down. How to have more devotion for God and stay in love more?
Love can't be diminished. On the spiritual path, love has to keep increasing. The point is that the mind gets so much focused into what we do in the outside. We become slave to that mind. We start running behind the dictation of the mind. So we lose interest. At the beginning of the one spiritual path, one is very dedicated, very enthusiastic doing the sadhana. And they push themselves completely to the extreme, It's like somebody is doing exercise, they go to the extreme doing the exercise. How long would that last for? The body have a limit, no? So it will come to a point that the body will say enough is enough. Then you start having pain, automatically you will drop in doing your exercise. So like that also, you see, when people became very at ease, into what they're doing, what kicking is laziness. They start to become lazy. And so when they become lazy, they find excuses for not doing the sadhana. And that is a problem. They don't want to meet the challenges. They don't want to face the reality. Because you see, they want a spirituality which is flat, in a straight line, like a dead person. You know? That's what people want. You know? They want to be dead. You know? And that's what they call spirituality? No, it is not. In spirituality there must be the challenges. But how much do you go through it? That is very important. There was once a turtle, a tortoise, who lived on a ship. Wherever the ship will go, the tortoise will have an easy life and it will go with it. The life carries on like that. One day the ship had a wreck and the ship drowned, you know. So the tortoise had to swim. So he swam for a very long time. So finally he reached a deserted island. So reaching the deserted island, being very tired, what did he? Lying there. After some time he started to feel hungry. Started looking around for food. Could not find any food. So he decided to climb a nearby mountain, with the hope that behind the mountain there is some food. So as he climbed the mountain, he noticed that the more he was climbing, it started to get cold. Finally, he reached the place on the top, full of snow, freezing cold. Looking for food, there was no food. He take courage and he slid down to the other side. So as he was coming down, the weather started changing and become warmer and nicer again. It come to a point that he stopped. But he looked around, he saw a monster in front of him. And when he looked around him, he saw that there is a lot of dead bodies of many animals around. But hunger is killing him. He don't know what to do. So he take courage, strength. He said, no matter what, I will face that monster. So he took courage and advanced toward that great monster. So as he approached the monster, he saw that the monster was not a monster. It was a pile of stone who had a shape of a fearful monster. All the other idiots, they stopped themselves fearing that big monster. And this one, he took courage and he went. And he saw it was just a pile of stone. He crossed over, he reached a wonderful valley. And in that valley, he had all the food that he wanted. And he lived ever happy. It's called the Valley of the Turtles. Probably he was the only one there. But that story is a story of courage, you know. And the spiritual path is not a path for lazy people. It's not a path for people which true spirituality I'm talking about. I'm not talking about spirituality which people like to go in just because it is fancy, you know. I'm talking about true spirituality in reaching the goal of your life itself. Not in our future life, now. Because you see, everybody is trying to do spiritual things, you know, little by little. Now they try, let me try this, let me try that, let me try this technique, let me try that technique. You know, every day I got message from people that Swamiji, can I do this technique? Oh, Swamiji, can I do that technique? That will reduce my karma, that will free me, that will help me, that will make me more fit. Well, you can practice whatever you want, but if you don't practice what your master have given you, and you don't give your fullness into that, you will not reach anywhere. So the story of the turtle itself is a story of one life, Challenges appear like monster, imaginary monster. Very often we like to imagine many things, especially when things don't go the way we want. What we do? We imagine things. We imagine it in a worse way. Even if it is just a small thing like that, we imagine it in such a tremendous way, that we make ourselves weak. There's also a wonderful story of a monster also living in a forest. When the Pandavas were in exile, they were walking, and Krishna was with them. So they arrived in front of the forest. So they were very tired. So one of them, Krishna said to them, one of you should guard in case there's any danger. So then you can alert all of us. So first, the most robust and most valiant, most strong strength. And who is it?
Bhim.
Bhim. That's it. Bhim said, I will guard first. So I was guarding, the monster came to him. The big monster come out from the jungle. Bhim was very strong. I will fight him. I will stop him. So he started fighting with the monster. The monster gave a good beating to Bhim. And beating, such a beating, he was there down, lying. So it was time for the other brothers. Same. Arjun did the same. Nakul, Sadev, all of them got beaten. Tif, Yudhishthira came, also got beaten. Krishna woke up, looked around, could not find anybody. So he went looking for them, and he saw this huge monster there, and they were all lying. So Krishna looked at the monster, and what did Krishna do? He just smiled. He didn't fight. He didn't become angry. Oh, you have beaten all my friends. Here, I'm going to kill you right now. No, he didn't. But he did. He just smiled with love. Because Bhagavan, Krishna, is love himself. So that was his precious weapon. So that melt that monster. But the monster becomes so small in front of Krishna. So Krishna caught him, tied him, and put him in his pocket. So after some time, the Pandavas woke up. And Krishna was standing, looking very astonished to them. Said, what happened to you guys? But we were fighting this big demon, who came out from the forest. So Krishna took it out and said, is this? Yes. How did he become so small? I said, well, you see, this is also how you view your problem, how you view your spiritual challenges. If you have trust, if you have faith, no matter what challenges come, you will stand strong. But if you don't have faith, you don't have love, you don't have trust into that, anything will appear gigantic, massive. Then you will become the little The moment you become the little one, you are in complete weakness. Then you can't achieve anything. Then you start to go down the road. That's what happened. When one starts becoming, let's say, take one spiritual path in a very, how call it, easy way. So then we think that it is very easy. Then we start becoming lazy. We start to avoid doing our sadhana. So who will be the one which lose? We will be the one. So that's why it is very important. No matter what comes, one should keep increasing one's sadhana. If you perceive that your sadhana is going down and you don't have the same feeling, it's fine. It doesn't need to do everything with the same feeling. You are a different person day to day. You're not the same person. You're getting older and older. Strength is getting less and less. But your inner strength have to become more strong and strong. Because a spiritual path is not an outer path. It is an inner path. More you dive inside, more you become strong. More you try to see on the outside, more you become weak. So, build that inner strength by journeying inward. And that will bring you forward always. Jai Gurudev.